Hello and welcome to the Craft Beer Corner. For today's beer review, we're jumping into a quad New England style IPA from Ingenious Brewing. I've had a few of their beers in the past. It's been a while since I've had one, and this is a collaborative brew they've done with Turning Point Beer. This specific beer clocks in at 12.5% ABV, and they brewed this one with Citra, Cascade, and Sabro hops. Ingenious Brewing is based in Humboldt, Texas. So, first things first, we have to talk about this. This is probably the single coolest label art I've ever seen. It looks like an old Nintendo from the 80s, the original Nintendo cartridge art. It's got this 8-bit design. This is just awesome. I am keeping this can, I assure you that. That is amazing. I absolutely love it. Even the art style and the font and the coloring underneath looks very similar to like Nintendo's branding on their old games. It's incredible. I love it. So let's get this cracked. A nice quadruple New England style IPA, collaborative brew. I love it. Gently. Okay. And we're going to get this poured right in the old glass. Oh yeah, that's looking hazy. Very hazy. Ooh, quite thick. Quite thick as that pours out of there. That's almost milkshake territory. Granted, this is 12.5% ABV. Yeah, it looks quite thick pouring out. Wow, massive aroma off of this one. All right, visually, yeah, that's a hazy for sure. It is, it's standard IPA color. It's a little hard to tell with the hazy, but it almost looks like it may be on the lighter yellow side with less underlying kind of orange hues in there. But it looks lovely. It's IPA color. It's hazy as advertised. Head formed beautifully. Let's go right up over it for a full sniff. Yeah, that's pungent. There's a lot happening in this aroma. There's obvious citrus. It smells very much like grapefruit and orange. There's some pineapple. A little bit of this resinous quality in the background. I don't really smell anything floral, no kind of flowers, nothing really earthy. It smells very fruity, very juicy, dominant citrus with just a tropical fruit or two. But it smells great and it's quite pungent. This is a stunning beer, a quadruple New England style hazy IPA. I'm sure I've never done a quad New England, so I'm really looking forward to this. We've got some high alpha acid content hops. Let's just jump in and see what this one tastes like. Oh man, that is a big beer. Wow. That is bold in your face flavor. Bold in your face flavor. So before we get to what's happening flavor wise here, this is a big beer. It's got a lot of breadth to it. And as I was saying, hey, it looks really thick. Yeah, that mouthfeel, you can feel the weight of this and the thickness of it. Absolutely fantastic. So when you first swallow, you're hit kind of a bam, bam, one after the next. The first thing that hits you is just this bright, fresh burst of fruit juice. That's what it tastes like. And it does taste really, it almost does taste like it smells, like a combination of grapefruit and orange juice together, maybe with just a twist of lime added. I don't really taste any tropical fruit undercurrents, even though there's some on the nose. That's not really translating into the flavor profile. But the major, just massive whack of citrus juice right in your face on that first sip, it's huge. I can't overemphasize how intense the flavor profile on this is on this. This is like very high ABV, very long barrel-aged kind of stout territory flavor intensity, or like barley wine flavor intensity. It's really big and in your face. And another thing that I really can't overemphasize, I know everybody, oh, big, juicy, fruity, when they're talking about New England style. I really mean it when I say that this is juicy. It is beyond juicy. It's literally like a burst of fresh mixed fruit juice when you first swallow this. What that does open up into, yes, they used high alpha acid content hops here. And yeah, this does have a pretty solid underpinning of a nice bittering profile, but they're really focusing here predominantly on that intensity of that kind of fruit characteristic coming out of the hops. Not to say that there's not a nice bit of bitters, there definitely is. But again, we're not talking like a West Coast style. It's nice, and it goes well with this big, flavorful IPA. I mean, a quad, what more can you ask for? This is absolutely delicious. In terms of the flavor profile that I got on the bittering side of the hop, it is kind of a combination of earthy and a little bit of kind of pine and resin. But it's very, very nice. It works together. It comes in up front immediately after that big fruit burst, but it's very subtle. You can tell it's there, and the fruit kind of intensity really goes really big and then kind of dials back over the first 5-10 seconds, and it kind of settles down as kind of those underlying hop bittering elements start to open up a little bit. Never goes too crazy, but it is definitely there, and it's a really nice backing hop bittering profile to go with this big intense flavor. It just works in there. I think floral, if they got some floral kind of bittering elements from a different strain of hop, that would probably work well in this as well. But what they did put in there, absolutely fantastic. Honestly, for my money, I wouldn't change a thing about this. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to jump back in for a second sip, let the flavors intensify, see if I missed anything, and talk about the actual length of the finish. This is just an absolutely delicious IPA. Man, that flavor is so intense. It really is like fresh fruit juice. Yeah, 5-10 seconds that dials back. Slowly the underlying kind of bitters start to open up within the first 10 seconds. Juiciness is still dialing back. Bitters are expanding. Yep. Now the juice is really dialed back. The bitters are really prevalent. Now they're kind of settling down, but you can really taste them. It's got, the length of the finish on this is actually pretty long. Considering the relative lack of intensity of the bitters compared to, say, a West Coast style, for example, it's actually got quite a long finish on it. I can still taste, it's probably been 30 seconds. I can still taste residual kind of citrus juice, fresh squeezed citrus juice with this underlying earthy and kind of pine resinous sense of the bittering underneath it. It's really, really nice. It lingers right on the back of the palate. It actually, while it doesn't necessarily hit like a ridiculous peak of intensity of bittering, what kind of lingers on the back of the palate holds for an impressive amount of time. I mean, I've got to be pushing a minute now. Since I took that sip, it is still lingering. So yeah, overall, this is just a massively, massively impressive beer. Never had a quad New England style. Man, I don't know how many there are in the marketplace, but I got to say, I absolutely love it. This is a big, big beer for IPA lovers. I am going to take my time, sip on this one, come up my scores. When we come back, we'll get this one ranked from top to bottom. All right, now that we've gotten to enjoy this beer, we're going to get it ranked. So again, this was a collaboration brew between Ingenious Brewing Company and Turning Point Beer. Ingenious is kind of the main producer of it. They're based in Humble, Texas. This was a quad New England style IPA, clocking in at 12.5% ABV. Okay, so this is, I feel like 2021 is the year bringing me great beer luck. But there's no need to go through the entire list. This is, yet again, the tiny handful of perfect scoring beers. I mean, this beer just has everything exactly right for the style. There was nothing that I felt was out of place or that was unbalanced or mismatched. It was basically a perfect example of what a high ABV New England style IPA is and should be. This swept it in all 10 categories, 10 out of 10 for a total score of 100 out of 100, and well deserved. Aside from the fact I liked the label art, I absolutely liked even better what was inside of this can. Just a tremendous beer, packed with flavor, huge heft, the right mouthfeel, tons and tons of layering and flavors, plenty of bitters, complexity, length on the end. This is just the whole package. If you're a fan of big, bold IPAs and New England IPAs in particular, I've never had one that was quite as incredibly intense of flavor and juicy as this. You always hear, oh, New England, it's a juice bomb. It's so juicy. Well, this legitimately is just juicy beyond belief. I couldn't believe it. And then coupled with that, just this nice kick of bitters I really didn't expect or anticipate. It was absolutely delicious. If you're a fan of the style, this is one to try to grab. I got mine from Tavour. Hopefully you can find them in the marketplace. Maybe if you're local in Texas, you'll have a little bit better luck, but this is definitely worth your time. Folks, that's today's review. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to stay in a loop when we drop our videos live on YouTube, just turn on the notifications, click that bell icon. It is right next to the subscribe button. Until next time, keep it beer, keep it craft. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.